Yo, welcome. So off the bat, let me go ahead and put y'all at ease because the title can be a little bit misleading, but I love the anime known as Charlotte Trust, and the title is a little inside joke for those who've seen the anime already, but for today's main purpose of the rant, I do want to try and convince the ones who haven't seen Charlotte to check it out. I also, of course, want to go over aspects that I loved, and most importantly, as a romance guru, the development between Yu and Tomori and their budding romance, yeah. But with all that yap said, and as usual, let's move on to our episode 1 yap and the important parts of it. Hope y'all enjoy. Alright, episode 1 and the start of Yu Otosaka's journey, and Loki at first Burr's a little edgy, especially with his ability to hop into other people's bodies, but only for 5 seconds at a time, so it's kind of an incomplete ability since it has such a small time frame. Moving on though, he's pretty scummy and a fraud, not gonna lie. He may have the looks of someone intelligent and handsome, but he uses his ability to cheat his way into a really elite high school and manipulates a girl he's got a crush on named Shirei Anagi into falling for him by literally creating a scenario where he has her damn near get taken out by Truck-kun and saves her. But using this power of his garners the attention of 2 people who also have powers and that hunt down others to protect him from those who might want to use him. And those 2 are now Tomori, main female protag, and Loki, a character I relate to hella personality-wise, and Jojiro Takujo, idol fanboy. Can we blame him? They too have abilities as well and use them in order to catch Yu red-handed and force him to transfer over to their school that protects others whom also develop powers around the high school ages, and he joins the student council that involves the 3 of them to continue protecting and finding others before who for sure harm them can exploit them. So, all in all, great first episode in my opinion, and the story sets itself up well for their future adventures and the slow development of an even bigger plot some episodes away. But seriously, even at this point, I already regretted not checking the anime out sooner because I was hooked off the bat, so I trust y'all will experience the same vibe as me after the first 23 minutes. But now let's move on to a few things I liked and loved, and after that, we'll also go over the slow budding of Yu and Tomori's romance. Rah! Starting off with the first thing that caught my notice, which is the flaws that those with powers have. They don't have OP abilities, but instead abilities that have limits, like Tomori being able to go invisible, but only in the perspective of one person, and Takujo's teleportation being kind of buns, always having him crash into walls and shit. And I don't mind power fantasies or anything like that. I even love them most of the time, especially with JJK or Dragon Ball, but it's nice to see human flaws highlighted because it brings a more grounded feel, Next, I like the slow and steady growth of Yu's character, which was low-key fun to watch because at first, bro is just a no-good cheater, but by the end, he's only thinking about his friends, Tomori, who he needed to feel his feelings for, and everyone across the planet who had powers. He even risks his sanity and life to create a world that saves all of those infected and to keep them from ever being exploited again. Lastly, now Tomori and how much I love her as a character as a whole. And she's so grounded and blunt on her actions, but it also is just the comedic relief she provides to the story too. But without her, I think the story would be a lot more darker and gruesome. And she most definitely keeps you anchored down when he was going through a tough time after a certain thing happened. But I urge you to see it for yourself, because if I spoil it, it won't hit as hard, but it'll hit harder without spoilers. Also, before moving on, Sala Shane on God is fine shite of the story, and the only waifu of the anime. Argue with the wall, she's the blind baddie. Yeah, and now for the most important piece of today's yap, Yu and Tomori's romance, which at first didn't even feel like they developed one because you couldn't stand her at all, but Tomori is honestly really blunt and bossy in general, but once he's in the student council, things start to build and they build a connection of trust through shared pain and interests. And I know I said I would try not to spoil a certain thing, but here's your warning. So after Yu's sister Ayumi dies in an accident, Yu just spirals down into a depression and locks himself away. He's in a really bad state and eventually starts doing a lot of terrible things, but Tomori watches over him the entire time with her power, and she shares and stays with him through the whole spiral and eventually pulls him back. And by the end, when Yu confesses and they both agree to be lovers when he gets back, it's that agreement that keeps him grounded and committed to see her again, even after he loses all his memories from the plunder mission. I love the romance because it both isn't forced or dramatic. It's just 2 people who truly care on the other and will do anything to relieve each other in any painful situation. So it's honestly just an underrated relationship for real. Alright, time to wrap the app up. So honestly, 10 out of 10 anime, and I don't really got many of those, but it may even be a new entry into my top 20 because of that. And the story stays consistent and doesn't outpace itself, and there's great characters all around, and the end twist was just low-key really sad, and low-key gave me plastic memories PTSD. So honestly, almost shed a tear a little. But that's all on my rant for Charlotte, and I can't wait to see if you all enjoyed as much as I did. But I'm yapping. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like, add any thoughts down below in the comments, and even sub up. And I appreciate y'all, and I'll see